So as we get settled, let me just introduce myself. For those of you, I'm not trying to be facetious, may not know me. My name is Rick Blangiardiʻs, and I have the privilege of serving as the 15th mayor of the city and county of Honolulu. And behind me are the men and women of our team, whom you're going to get to meet in a little bit. This is our third town hall meeting of the year. We started in Kapolei 2 weeks ago, and last week we were in Kailua. And I believe last year we did 11. I know we did 11, but I believe last year the last meeting we had was with Salt Lake. So we're really pleased to have you in sort of the front end of our schedule tonight. It's also an unorthodox meeting for us in a sense in that we've never done one with bleachers before. So just a little house rule to put you at ease. We have people here. When we get into the Q&A part, that will come and take a microphone to you. We don't want anybody having a battle with coming down the stairs or anything like that, okay? And so let me just say, I'm going to come back and tell you some ground rules on how we'd like to do this. There are really no rules. It's probably the wrong way to say it. Just kind of how we'd like to have it happen. But we'd like to kick it off first and foremost with a pule from Pastor Daniel Chin. And where's Pastor? He was just here. Here he is. From Moanalua Gardens Church.
Thank you, Mayor. I thought it was kind of funny, actually. He said, for those of you who don't know me, of course everybody knows you. You're the mayor of Honolulu. Anyway, but yeah, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to all of those of you in our community. We're really blessed that we have a community of aloha and a culture in which we really care about our community. In fact, that's why all these people are here. So thank you, all of you leaders, for helping our community be a better place. I do want to share this that, really, as I was driving over here, the phrase that came to mind was aloha ke kahi I ke kahi, that we would love one another, right? And I think that's why we're all here, right? We're here because we love our community. But sometimes in loving our community, we start butting heads, right? Where it's like, man, I love our community, but we all have different philosophies in how we do that. And that's why I just really am thankful for all of you here, because you represent individuals. You represent families. You represent communities in being able to translate and interpret how do we love one another given our different philosophies. Now, one of the greatest things that we all agree on is aloha. Can you say aloha real quick for me? Right? Aloha is something that nowhere else has it except Hawaii. And when we say aloha, it's more than hello and goodbye. It's more than the show you that's on sale at Target. It is a way of life, right? It is a way of living. And that is the greatest thing that we have here. In fact, it's a law in the land, right? And so if you didn't know, aloha is an acronym, and it begins with akahai. Say akahai to bring it in close. And then there's olu olu. Say olu olu. All right? It's about being agreeable and pleasant, listening to understand, listening respectfully to understand. And that's why you guys are great listeners already, man. You guys got olu olu. It's amazing. It's awesome. And then there's ha'a ha'a. Say ha'a ha'a. Right? Humility expressed with harmony. It's all about bringing out the treasures in one another. And that's why I appreciate it. And I wanted to thank the mayor and all those here behind me, because you guys are bringing out the treasures, the gold in our communities. So thank you. So that's ha'a ha'a. And then the last one is ahunui. Say ahunui. Right? Ahunui is patience expressed with perseverance, in which we may prioritize our time and our relationships. And so I don't want to waste any more time, because you're here not to hear from me, but to hear what our leaders are doing and to ask questions. But if you wouldn't mind just bowing your heads with me real quick as we just pray, just a real quick prayer along these lines of aloha. So Father God, as we come together tonight here in this gym, Lord, we pray for your aloha, that your aloha would fall upon this meeting, upon this time, so that whoever speaks would feel your aloha, and the questions that are asked would be filled with your aloha, and that we would have aloha from you, aloha for one another, and aloha for ourselves. We pray these things now. In your name we pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. All right.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you. I'll do a couple of quick introductions. We have from our city council, I see her right here in front of me, Councilmember Val Okimoto is here. And I think somebody told me Tommy Waters just walked in the house. Council Chair Tommy Waters. And I also think Radiant Cordero's going to come. If she's not here yet, she's here. Radiant, There you are, Radiant Cordero. Thank you. Okay. And Representative Linda Ichiyama's here. There you go. See, I told you, in my mind, done. I got it. Anyway, thank you for being here. Sam. I'm sorry. Sam Kong is here. Sam, good to see you, sir. Good to see you. Thanks, guys. Okay, so that said, I just want to make one other introduction. And I don't want to embarrass him. He's here tonight as a civilian. One of the things we've really prided ourselves on as a group is really we've worked well with our military, despite the fact we've had many challenges, unprecedented challenges, not the least of which was Red Hill. But they've been great strategic partners for us in so many different things that we're trying to get done with the city and county. And tonight, not the least of which in this area, Captain Mark Sohaney's here. I saw him. There, he's sitting right up here with us. Great. You're welcome. Anything you want to say?
Well, hey, aloha. Mayor, thanks for inviting me. This is such an important community engagement. For me, this is my fifth tour in Hawaii since 1998. I've been stationed all over the island and very blessed to be back here commanding Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam. My kids were born and raised here, and I'm retiring here, Mayor, on July 11th at 10:10, and I'm going to stay here for the rest of my life. So we are excited. I'm excited to hear about this community a little bit more in detail to make sure I'm tracking and the Navy's tracking with the city. And I also want to say thanks to the entire city for their collaborative and partnership efforts that we've been working on multiple things over the last couple of years, Mayor. So again, thanks for having me, and aloha, everybody.
Thank you. I have a bit of a background in team sports. I would tell you being mayor is definitely a team sport. And the men and women that are behind me, you're about to meet. I'm going to start with you down there, Dr. Babcock in a second, are members of our cabinet and deputy directors and deputy directors. They're here tonight for a number of reasons. One, candidly speaking, as a team, last year when we did our first 11 town halls, we positioned it as a journey of learning. We came to listen, and that was our intention. We also came to answer questions. Beyond that, also to establish personal contact for you so we could do the follow-up. Now, this tonight is being recorded. It's actually live on Olelo TV, which we didn't do last year, but we record every session, we review every session, and we make sure that every question or situation or something that was a problem that maybe couldn't easily be solved or answered is followed up on. So there's a real benefit in you being here tonight for any pressing issue you might have, because you can have the opportunity to talk directly and make contact with and establish a relationship with the person that can probably most help you with that situation. So that said, I'll get into a few other things, but I want to start off so you get to meet them. This is a hell of a group, ladies and gentlemen. It's a hell of a group. Dr. Babcock.
So good evening, everybody. My name is Roger Babcock. I'm Director of the Department of Environmental Services. We take care of wastewater and refuse. And thanks for having us this evening.
Thanks, Roger. My name is Ben Sullivan. I'm the Deputy Director for the Office of Climate Change, Sustainability, and Resiliency. And so we work on reducing carbon pollution, and we work on helping save energy costs, and we also work on preparing for climate change impacts, such as sea level rise. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lloyd Yonenaka. I am the Executive Secretary for the Neighborhood Commission, and we oversee the neighborhood boards. We have a couple of members here tonight, and the chair for the Salt Lake Board, David Jones, and then the chair for Pearl City, Larry Bure. Anybody else from the neighborhood boards here? All right. Thank you very much for serving. I realize you don't get paid, but you do a great service. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Joe Costilla, Assistant Chief, Honolulu Fire Department. So my division, we oversee the field operations and day-to-day operations of our firefighting force. Thank you for being here tonight.
Aloha, everybody. Keith Orikawa, Deputy Chief, HPD, with the field operations side of the house. And if I could just real quickly introduce some of my team. I got our District 3 Pro City Station folks here, Major Hunter Alu, Captain Nakabayashi, Lieutenant Iwasaki over there. Also our District 5 Kalihi Station folks. So I have Acting Major Kurt Ying over there, as well as our community policing team. So thank you.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Sam Moku, homeless coordinator for the mayor. Welcome. I'm glad to be here.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kira Shushom, and this is only my third day here. I'm here actually to help every department here and you, and to help streamline our data services for the city and county of Honolulu. Thank you.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Kevin Auger. I'm the Deputy Director of Housing for the city and county. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kim Hashira. I'm the Director for the Department of Customer Services. Our department provides services at satellite city halls, the DMV, and public communications.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Iseri Matsubara. I'm the Executive Director for the Office of Housing. Thank you for letting us be a part of your evening.
Good evening, everyone. Gene Albano with the Department of Facility Maintenance. I am the Chief Engineer as well as the Director. My department is responsible for the maintenance of the city facilities as well as its infrastructure. So if you have issues with roads, streams, public buildings, electrical systems, you certainly can come and see me afterwards. I look forward to our dialogue this evening. Thank you.
Aloha mai kako. My name is Ka'ili Trask O'Connell, and I'm the Executive Director of MOCA, which is the Mayor's Office of Culture and the Arts. Mahalo for having us here tonight.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Donna Puna, Director of the Department of Planning and Permitting, DPP. Thank you for having us today.
Aloha, my name is Anton Krucki. I'm the Director of the Department of Community Services. So we do all human services activities for the city and supporting those, whether it be elderly services, public housing, Section 8, all of the Work Hawaii where we do job training, also all of the HUD money that comes in that we distribute at service providers, and also the grants and aids that the city does. We also have the homeless coordinator in our department and child care coordinator. We just installed HONU in Blaisdell Park. So if anybody wants to talk about that, I'll be here afterwards too and can walk you through that. Thank you very much for having us here tonight.
Good evening, everyone. Mike Formby, Managing Director, and it's good to be here. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Krishna Jaram. I'm the Deputy Managing Director. Thank you all for being here today.
Aloha. I'm Andy Sugg. I'm the Mayor's Chief of Staff, and I'm very happy to be here tonight. Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Good evening. Good evening. My name's Nola Miyazaki. I'm the Director of Human Resources. We manage the 10,000 plus employees across the city. And besides supporting the mayor and meeting all of you, I'm here tonight because we're hiring. And I brought my top recruiter here, Darcy Amata. If you know anyone that's interested in working for one of the top employers in the state named by Forbes magazine, please go see Darcy after the town hall. Thank you.
What a great plug. Hi, thank you very much for coming this evening. My name is Keith Suzuka. I am the Deputy Director for the Department of Land Management.
Yeah, aloha. My name is Stephen Courtney, Deputy Director for the Department of Information Technology. We're made up of about 160 talented professionals who provide IT services to all these departments, as well as applications for the citizens to use, such as driver's license, motor vehicle registration, real property, as well as H&L 311 and more. We're the ones that provide the technology to help make the city a lot better. Thank you.
Aloha, everybody. I'm Roger Morton. I'm the Director of the Department of Transportation Services. Our department oversees the public transportation systems. We oversee the bus, the handy van. We manage the operation of the rail system. My partner over there, Lori, builds it. We operate it. We're also in charge of streets. Usually at these meetings, there's always a lot of traffic and speeding and those types of issues. That's our department. We also do bike paths. We also do safety, all kinds of safety for people. Glad to be here.
Aloha, everyone. My name is Amy Aselbai. I am the director of the Office of Economic Revitalization. We're focused on entrepreneurship, supporting small businesses, and helping to diversify our economy. And I'd like to note two members of our team, Glenn and Nicole, are over there, and they would love to chat with you. We just launched the Oahu Business Connector, which can help any small business in the community to connect with over 70 plus business support organizations on this island. So we welcome you to grab a flyer if you're not a business owner and hand it to your friend who might need some help accessing funding, taking a class on how to utilize social media or marketing, whatever it may be. Thanks.
Hi, aloha kako. My name is Ke Haupu'u. I'm the Deputy Director of the Department of Parks and Recreation. We strive to serve community by offering recreational opportunities through our parks and our facilities like this one we're all here at tonight. Botanical gardens, programs, events, and all the city trees. Mahalo for having us.
Aloha and good evening. My name is Robert Harder. I'm from the Department of Emergency Management. And if you don't know who we are, we're the ones that get to work with all these wonderful folks to prepare for, respond to, and recover from disasters that may befall us. And don't forget, this is Tsunami Awareness Month.
Aloha, everyone. I'm Carrie Castle. I'm with the Budget and Fiscal Services Department. We have about 300 people in BFS, and two of our divisions include Treasury and real property taxes. It's great to be here tonight and nice to have all of you here.
Good evening. Good evening. My name is Lori Kahikina, CEO and Executive Director of Honolulu Authority for Rapid Transportation. As Roger mentioned, we are in charge of constructing and building the rail system. Thank you.
How's it? My name is Haku Millis. I'm the director for the Department of Design and Construction. We execute the city's capital improvement program. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Ian Santi. I'm the Deputy Director of the Honolulu Emergency Services Department. We have the ambulances, the lifeguards, the city's health services, and our core program.
Good evening, Tracy Kubota, Deputy Director for Department of Enterprise Services. We have the golf courses, the auditoriums division, which has the Blaisdell, the Waikiki Shell, the Honolulu Zoo, and concessions under us. Good to see familiar faces. Thank you for coming out tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Erwin Kawata. I am the Deputy Manager at the Board of Water Supply. Thank you for having us.
Aloha, Ernie Lau, Manager for Honolulu Board of Water Supply. Aloha.
And tucked away here in the stands, Jordan, I'm going to give you the microphone. I thought you'd be sitting out here.
Aloha, everyone. Jordana Ferreira. I am the City and County's Early Childhood Resource Coordinator. Happy to be here.
And these are two positions. You heard Kira say today's her third day. Her title is actually Chief Data Officer, and that really evolved from some training and experiences that Mike Formby, myself, and a number of people on our cabinet had with the Harvard Bloomberg City Leadership Initiative. We were fortunate enough to be selected. We were one of 40 cities, 23 in the United States. The rest were on from 11 countries on 4 continents. It's been a tremendous learning experience with them as well, to see similarities in municipalities, not just in the United States but around the world. But one of the things that we learned, and one of the things we pride ourselves on, is being decisive. But in that spirit of being bold enough to be decisive, you want to make the most informed decision. And so having a data officer for us, because the world and these situations are never simple. They're complex. They're complicated. Nothing is linear. And so we want to be best informed. So with them, and we went scouring nationally, and we were able to find Kira in San Francisco. So it is only her third day, but I'm glad you're in attendance tonight. And this is how we move, lady. This is how we do it. Okay? So look, really simple. There are no really rules per se, but I would say the following to you. We didn't come tonight to make speeches, and we're going to ask you not to make any speeches. We're here to answer questions. You know, I don't want to be rude and cut anybody off, but we want to make sure we can cover as many different things that are on your mind. We're going to be here till 8:30. Then most of us will stay for a little while longer. That's ample time in our experience to answer a lot of questions to the best of our ability. I will answer whatever you ask of me directly. We don't screen questions. This is unfiltered. We'll take it on to the best of our ability. The only thing I will tell you is that we didn't come here to pander either. So if you ask a question, I'm not going to guarantee you necessarily you're going to like what you hear. But we're here to talk about the truth, as best we can. But at the same time, we look at this job as solving problems. And we understand that every district has problems. And it's somewhat unique in each district, which is why we love having our whole cabinet experience this. Because even if some of these men and women tonight don't get asked a question, what I want from them, and as a team, what we want from each other, is an awareness of what life is like around the island, because things are different in the districts, okay? So that's why we're here. As I said, somebody will bring you the microphone. All I ask is we will be civil. Let's have a civil discourse tonight, and hopefully you will be the same way. And I know that if there's frustration on issues, maybe longstanding issues, there's a tendency to be passionate about that. We respect that. In fact, we respect the very fact that you came tonight and turned out for this town hall meeting. That says a lot to us about who you are, even if we don't know you, and that you care enough, and maybe perhaps there's enough on your mind that you wanted to be here tonight, and we want to make this worthwhile for you. Last thing I'll say is, since we have Captain Sohani here today, I had the privilege this morning, along with Scott Humber, to attend a change of command ceremony out of Pearl Harbor. And it was the head of the Naval Fleet, Admiral Paparo, was stepping down and handing over to Admiral Kaler, and then next month he's going to become the head of Indo-PACOM. But as we were there, I could not help but feel these men, all the people, men and women who were there in uniform, the incredible sense of responsibility they hold, because these guys talk at the highest level about national security and what Hawaii represents, not only to the United States, but for the world and what goes on here. And that sense of responsibility is really something that's above and beyond what a lot of people can understand unless they're in their shoes. I will tell you that we all operate with a sense of responsibility. Nobody up here talks about their jobs per se. They talk about the responsibility and their expertise that they've agreed to come on and serve this community. And so there's a real parallel there in the spirit of which we approach you, is that we do understand that we're here to try to help make life better with respect to quality of life issues. So just know that. I say that on behalf of my whole team. I'm anxious for you to hear more from them than their names. And Chair Waters, Val, anything radiant, anything any of you guys want to say at any time, just raise your hand. I'll say this: we've had tremendous cooperation with City Council in all things we've tried to do. We've been in office for about 3 years and 4 months right now. First year was all COVID. All COVID. I'm not making excuses. We got stuff done, but not anywhere near like the kind of traction we've begun to have over the last couple of years. And so we're a team that prides itself on solving problems, as I just said, but a team with momentum right now, and we're excited about the road ahead. So with that, let's turn it over to you, and let's start with the questions and see who wants to go first. And we'll have somebody bring the microphone. Sir. Okay. This is Brandy. Oh, by the way, I should introduce our communications team. Brandy Heger from our communications team, Ian Shuring, Admiral Favors here, Scott Humber, Ian Shuring's over there, Scott Humber's here walking around, our Director of Communications over there, and Ryan Wilson. Where's Ryan? There's Ryan's back there. Okay. Ryan Wilson. Okay. Sir.
Well, Mayor Blangiardiʻs, thank you so much for having the privilege to be able to meet with you and the whole cabinet today. I'm Larry Vray, Chair of the Pearl City Neighborhood Board, and I've got to say that with our board, we've had the privilege of working with a lot of the directors that you have here in the cabinet across the board, especially Lori here, when I lost my parking garage, but it was all for good. But I wanted to bring up the Pearl City Neighborhood Board has really been responsive to our elderly, our residents in Pearl City, and we've managed to work and collaborate with all your staff. We generate our letters, which are requirements, our resolutions, and you guys act on them, and we really appreciate that. But I look at it, the areas that I feel that I could do a little bit more, and that area is when I have my seniors, when I feel they've been wronged by the city, I can't turn my head. I have got to stand up for them. So if we go back 2 years ago, we had a Kona Low come in to Hawaii. Pearl City got the brunt of it. Pearl Highlands Elementary School. Water came down fast. And of course, with DPP, we got a great sewer system in Hawaii. Hardly ever do you hear of flooding. The water comes and it goes. But in that situation, we had a situation where we had a number of our seniors with their area that got wiped
There were
out.
5 families. 5 families
Yeah.
affected, right?
5 families.
2 sued the city and 3 missed the deadline. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what do you want, Larry?
That the issue is that I really believe that during the initial investigation with the city, I think they was too quick to come up with a decision. They didn't do the due diligence and actually go out and interview the flood victims. And also, I had a special meeting a month ago where I did bring Councilwoman Aokimoto and also Director Abano in, and I wanted them to hear the evidence that the flood victims had.
Okay.
So my bottom line is, I really would need ask the city if they could come back and do a secondary investigation without having to put the brunt on the flood victims to pay lawyers, because I really think that they've been wronged.
All right.
But thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. So let's try to address that. And let me just say one thing, that probably the most understated guy up here is this guy right here, Managing Director Mike Formby, because all of these folks report to Mike. Runs the city. I like to call him. He's akin to he's our Tom Brady as far as offensive, being the quarterback. He's also the head coach and all of that. And the only people that report to me is legal counsel, which is part of the reason why I'm familiar with that. That said, they don't come to these meetings because typically what they do is, and I can relay that, but I am going to ask Christian, I'm going to put him on the spot, our Deputy Managing Director. He's got a little bit of familiarity with that. And just to make sure we understand what the request is, so I can relay that tonight. And besides that, candidly speaking, we're not going to resolve a legal matter in a forum like this, but I want to make sure, Larry, that we hear the situation and we're going to take it to heart. So, Christian, I'll turn it over to you.
Yeah, Chair, thank you for being here, and thank you for the question. We have discussed this with Corporation Counsel, and they believe they've taken a good look at the issue. But this is something we can talk about some more and see if we can have another discussion about it. But from their perspective, they feel like they've done their due diligence. They feel like they've looked at it. They feel like they're protecting the taxpayer monies also. So we can have more discussions about this if that'd be helpful.
I would like to request a follow-on meeting. And some of those flood victims are here tonight. If you could stand, please. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
We can get you a microphone. Thank you, Larry.
Hi, my name is Denise Saki, and I would say that my house was hit substantially by the storm. And if you look at the investigation that was done, all that was done, or at least that was provided to us, was documentation of the maintenance that was done on the Ho'omai'imai ditch, okay? The Ho'omai'imai ditch is above the elementary school. What
You might want to talk into the microphone so we can hear a little bit better.
What caused the damage to our homes was there's a culvert that runs between my house and my neighbor's house, 6 feet by 10 feet. I believe that's correct, Jean. But that culvert was 100% blocked for 50 to 100 feet. So the rain coming from Mauka didn't have anywhere to go. It couldn't progress down to Pearl Harbor Basin, right? So it backed up, went onto the Pro City Highlands Elementary School grounds, bubbled up like geysers, came over our wall, eroded our foundation, and therefore the structure of our homes, not to mention flooding. But if your deputy director, council reports to you, if you will look at the documentations that they provided, there is no investigative report. There's only documentation of the overtime ledgers that was done on the Ho'omai'imai ditch. That has nothing to do with the 100% blockage of the culvert. The city employees took 2 weeks 10 to 14 hours a day. Yeah, 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week to clear out that culvert. So how this Corp Council can say that our city employees did their due diligence in their recurring maintenance of the culvert is beyond me.
Okay.
That report that I requested from Gene Albino's office, if that is the report that Corp Council is basing their decision on, is not a report.
Okay. Well, I promise you, and Larry's here and Christian's here, that we will look at this really hard.
Really hard
And-
because, you know, we settle a lot of lawsuits, right? And we pay out, and I understand the due diligence of the tax-paying dollars. That's my tax-paying dollars as well. But we pay out lawsuits up the wazoo. But when your constituents, Mayor Blangiardiʻs, are affected personally, we just shut it down. Well, I mean, I look to you as my mayor
Thank you.
to resolve these kinds of issues.
Well, I'll tell you, the first I heard of this issue was in our preparation for this town hall meeting, which is why I knew what Larry was going to say. Because we do a little bit of prep, because we draw from the reports at the neighborhood board, we try to anticipate, no. So this is the first time I heard about it. So I'm telling you that very straight.
Yeah, so
And so,
so if you would just physically come out and you look at that report, Ho'omaiʻimaiʻi ditch is above the
Right.
elementary school. What good, how Corp Council made a decision to deny us based on those records of the Ho'omaiʻimaiʻi ditch is beyond me.
okay.
So, Ms. Saki, either after the end of the meeting or
right
now, we can chat on the
I'm
side
so
if
sorry,
that's
but
helpful.
this is
That's
so
okay.
frustrating.
No, we understand. Look, that's what these are about.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
No, it's okay. We hear you. I appreciate that. I've known nothing about that. Christian can make contact with you, get your personal stuff. We will follow up. Larry, I'm giving you my word. We're not going to look. The last thing I want to do is see anybody get screwed.
Right.
Okay, for want of a better way to say it. You didn't say that, but I'm saying it to you. Okay.
Right.
So let's look at this.
And I say this because I was an investigator for the Navy for many years. And if you base, Corp Council based their decision on those facts, they are not facts.
Okay. Thank you. Well said. Well done. Thank you.
Mayor. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Can
Hello.
I shake your hand?
Sure.
First of all, I'd like to know if Trump is around. If he's not, good. But you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming out.
You're welcome.
And I was hired for MTL back in 1973 as the first mechanic, as a non-union member. Remember now, the bus company was all union and only promoted through the union. And Roger Martin came about a year after I came in. And we get good memories. Still handsome and young. we gotta keep it light because everybody get hoo-hoo about everything else. But I don't have no hoo-hoo. What I need is that my main concern and guidance from you is that back in 2003, when Ben Cayetano tried working with Hilton, Marina Hotel, auto hotels, they was going to privatize the harbor. I've been surfing out at Alamana Bowes from the 60s. And to lose 365 public parking that the kingdom gave to the state on an understanding that no commercial usage. Now, the Senate or whatever, the legislature, they have a I forgot the bill number, to privatize for 1 year to a private company.
All right. Anybody here know anything about this? Michael does. Okay, I hear. Okay, Michael. I'll give you my microphone.
So, Mayor, I just was going to say that this is a state issue, and it's Ed Underwood, I believe, in Dobar. Is that correct? Division of Boat. Yeah. And so we can take it down and pass it to the state, but we don't have jurisdiction over this issue.
I understand.
Yeah.
But what I need is guidance on who I can take the step to.
Okay.
Because I
to
get photograph from 03 when my son was 5 years old.
And I don't want to cut you off. Michael's going to meet with you. We'll follow up with that. If there's 5 words I hate to use at a town hall meeting, this is a state issue. I hate to say that because it sounds like we're passing the buck.
Run for the governor! Run for the governor!
No, I like being mayor, man. Thank you.
Nice to see you, Tony.
Thank you. All right. Who's next? Thank you. Well, there's got to be something from somebody. All right, here we go. We can get the microphone to you, sir. I don't want anybody coming down the stairs. It's the first time we've had a bleacher set up. There you go, sir.
Oh, hi. My name is Frank Yim. I'm a resident of Salt Lake for all my life. And thanks
Your
for...
whole life?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't hear people say that very often.
I'm getting old. The question I had for the city pertains to the property tax. And my mom here has, some rental units in Waikiki. And basically what happened was, when you have property tax, you have 2 forms. One comes out as an assessment. It's not the bill.
Right.
Right? And then there's the property tax bill.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you get the property tax, okay, here, I know exactly what's going on. My father passed away in 2019, just before COVID. And so what happened was that brought out a lot of this to our minds because we had to do a step-up clause with the attorney. They said that he bought properties in 1970s, and of course, the value is much higher today.
Sure.
So we would get hammered with property taxes should I decide to sell, right, from the 1970 price to today.
Depreciation, sure.
So there's a step-up clause. The attorney says that you can do that, and then it'll move that value up to the current time when he passed away. Now, in order for you to do that, you have to get a licensed appraiser to appraise the property. And so, okay, so this opened a big problem because what happened now is Royal Kuhio, the units in there, and a lot of units around, even Salt Lake, they're leasehold. And we all know that leasehold properties are not as expensive as fee simple.
Correct.
And so when we get the city, when we had the appraisal from the licensed appraiser, he valued, say, for example, 180 grand for a 1-bedroom leasehold. Now, when I look at the city assessment that comes in and we are paying taxes based on that number, they're ranking it at $380,000, which if I were to turn around and try and sell that unit,
You couldn't get the
there's no way I could get the 300, but for some reason, we're being taxed at that high number.
Okay.
So basically, what did I do? I went down to the city and I challenged it.
Appealed it.
And so, we paid our $50 to go in and challenge it. There's a few of them, but I told my mom, I said, no, let's just challenge one. And so we did. And they told us that, if the challenge amount is going to be $10,000 or less, then don't even bother. And I said, oh, no, yeah, I wouldn't even bother. It's over $100,000 difference. Now, if you got 4 units, that adds up.
Is there $100,000, just so I understand you fully, on the valuation or the taxes that you owe?
No, the valuation.
The valuation, okay.
And so we challenged it, and basically we were sort of told that it's just the way it is. And I was like, I'm not sure if the people of Hawaii realize this, that if you folks own leasehold property and you're renting it out, that property is going to be assessed at a fee simple value from the city. And I was kind of at a loss. Like, I mean, you know the feeling where, what do you do? I mean, do you just sit here and take that?
Yeah.
And it's been going on, I guess, for years. I know my dad had mentioned it once, but he was too busy, and so now we're looking at it. But what really kicked it off was when he passed away, and for us to get that step-up clause. So that turned on a light that, my God.
Okay. I'm going to bring up Carrie from BFS. She's our deputy director. And Carrie, we'll see if we can give you some kind of answer or direction here that makes some sense to you. I'm not so sure. I'm not I hate to say this. I'm not a tax guy.
Right.
Hi, sir. I'm Carrie. Sorry, I missed your name.
Frank.
Frank. Thank you for that question. Could you repeat, like, what, in terms of where your appeal is today?
Oh, no, it's finished already, because the decision was made by the city or the committee that that's just the way it is. And I was kind of like, whoa. So I just take it then, I guess. Yeah. But I'm not sure if the people of Hawaii understand that this is actually going on. And that is big.
I would have hoped that when you appealed your assessment and you went to the appeal process, that they would have explained other than just, this is just the way it is. So I'm sorry that that was the feeling that you received, that there wasn't enough explanation. But I would be happy to take your name and see if we can provide further explanation as to why your appeal may not have been favorable.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
You see, the thing is, when I said that our certified lawyer, he assessed it, he went there and he assessed the property at X amount of dollars. And the reason why we challenge it was such a big difference between what we got from the, what is it, the city or the state?
The cities.
Yeah, okay. And so, you know what else we were told? Your lawyer is supposed to know that all that property, lease or fee, is assessed straight across the board as feasible, regardless of whether it's lease or not. If you want to change it, you have to go. It has to be a vote from the council, or etc. I said, how many people know that their property that they own, whether it's lease or not, is assessed as if it was fee simple? And they said, lawyers are supposed to know that when they assess your property. Brother, that I feel that is so unfair.
Well, I hear your concern. Again, I'd be happy to take this, get your name, take this back, be able to provide a better explanation to you, so you don't feel that it was just, that's just the way it is.
Thank you.
So I will definitely reach out to you after and get your name and your TMK number and see what we can find out.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Good. Who's up? I appreciate the question. And I realize that's a sensitive question to talk about in public, and I appreciate the fact you're so candid. And I hate the fact you get told, well, that's the way it is. I hate that. It shouldn't be that way. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Kelvin Chan. I'm a lifelong retired educator and
thank you.
Learner. I want to thank the City and County of Honolulu for affecting my whole life because of a program they had in the 1960s, 1970s, but this program, it stopped in the late 1990s. Anyway, the program was kite flying and making. In fact, in 1972, Hawaii, at the Kapiolani Park, had the first Hawaii World kite flying championship. During those days, we had the largest kite. In fact, my mentor, he made a kite as big as a 2-story house, 20 feet wingspan. It's a Filipino kite, and it's tailless, and it goes straight up. In those days, to judge the highest flying kite, the city provided a helicopter to go up, straight up, and judge the highest flying kite. And then throughout my years as an educator, I was a mathematics teacher, a computer science teacher. I taught problem solving, kite making, and this affected my life. In fact, in the next couple of weeks, I got invited to go to China to bring the kites.
Okay.
That,
So what is your question, sir?
Okay. The question is, the amount of parks that's provided for kite flying is limited, especially in District 2. If you look at the special places to fly kites, there's only Booth Park, Dole, and Halawa Park. I grew up over here in Salt Lake.
Are there actually signs that say no kite flying in
Yes,
other places?
this park, Pu'umalu Park, the one over
This
there.
big park out
Yeah.
here says you can't fly kites?
Yes. In fact, this park says no ball playing, no picnicking signs.
Okay. This is right up Kayhal's. This is right up her alley. Go ahead, Kayhal, take it away.
Hi, thanks for bringing up your question about kites. We'll be happy to explore that and, see where we can expand kite flying in our parks. We're trying to work on that on the Eva Beach side as well, because we have just a few parks that allow kite flying. I'm sure, there's some reasons, or it may be historical. There may be some historical reasons, but yes, we need to allow more kite flying in our parks. So be happy to work with you.
I used to live a couple blocks, and then I make my kites and I walk my kites because it's so big. I used to fly it at Salt Lake Elementary and then this park over here.
Mike, is there anything you want to say to this?
No, I think we need more kite flying.
Yeah. I have to tell you, generationally, and I know that I'm senior to you, I grew up with kites. I mean, that was like what we did as kids, try to make kites. We never did anything that would win awards or whatever, but I understand it's a really good recreational thing.
And then one of the kite shops was at Kite Fantasy in Kapiolani Park. Robert Loera, he moved to Maui, and his kite shop, the Maui toys, got burnt down too.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir. Next. I promise you, we're going to look into that. Kale's not just saying that. We're going to look into that. Yeah. Yeah, when do we get to be, how did that happen? We should be flying kites with the wind today in a park out there. I mean, can I just say one editorial thing just to give you a perspective? One of the things that we learned last year in the 11 town halls was if there was a common denominator, because as I said earlier, the districts are all very different and people have unique problems. But as we looked back after we finished the 11 of them and said, okay, what did we hear consistently in each district? So much of it had to do with recreation in parks and how people play. And the lack of swimming pools, are swimming pools, gymnasiums are not gymnasiums, fields, the maintenance of those fields. So we really understand, and Laura's not here tonight, but Kayal and Laura, we don't think we could have two finer people in charge of our parks and recreation, and their commitment and understanding what it represents. And, it sounds so cliche, but honestly, it's about, quality of life. It's about, making it better to live, work, and play. Okay? So I know that. Jim Mendoza. I'll look it up. Scott's the former news director at Hawaii News Now. So Ian's over there. I used to work there too till they threw me out and I ran for mayor. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Claire Tamamoto, ʻAiea Community Association, but lifetime whatever I am. My first question is actually for Roger Morton.
Good.
I don't know if you can answer. So I run a preschool and I run an adult daycare center. At our preschool, we can't go to a field trip because everybody knows there's a bus shortage or driver shortage. We've had our reservation. We asked for this reservation in August, and they've been booked. And it's not your bus, but it's been booked since August, and our field trip is not until May or June. I forget what it is. We tried to pursue everything that we could. We even looked at party buses, and we even pursued trying to use the regular bus system. I know that you don't want to compete with private sector, but they cannot fulfill the need. And so is there a way that we can somehow pay for a bus so we can get these kids from, their school to the theater at Hawaii Theater, and at the same time, and that's one question. And the second question is, in our adult daycare, we have about 6 or more handy vans that come every day to transport our seniors, and they come one by one. Is there a way to coordinate that so that one can pick up 3 or 4 people and drop them off? I mean, it's kind of a waste of services to just do one.
Nice to see you, Claire. It's been a while. So let's go through those.
Tell the way she said Roger Morton that she knew you. I could just tell.
There's history there. For the buses, it's not so much that we don't want to compete with the private providers. We're prohibited by the Federal Transit Administration from doing that. And the penalty that we have is we lose our federal funding if we violate that really strict rule that they have. There are only a few exceptions to that. One of them, if we have something like APEC here or something like that, and all of the privates agree that they don't have the capacity to do it. So it's not likely we could. I do tell you that a lot of schools, though, do use the regular bus system to get to Hawaii Theater. Is right downtown. Most of our bus routes go there. And it can be a learning experience for the kids, too, to go on the regular bus. So I encourage you to look at that.
We did go once from our preschool in ʻAiea to Pearl Ridge Shopping Center.
Yeah,
It
preschool's a little low. It is a little hard for preschool.
It's a little hard to move 105 little kids.
Agreed. Once you say preschool, I get that. But if they're third grade or more,
yeah,
it's usually pretty easy. And I don't have a solution for that because of the restrictions that we operate under.
Maybe
For
we'll
the
fix the bus.
second one on the handy van, we provide all of the adult daycare riders that we have. They go every day, and so it's always the same riders. Our staff at OTS, at Handy Van, make those recurring trips that are always the same trip, usually the same driver, usually the same people on the van, because they're scheduled as a recurring trip. And I don't know why that we are doing it inefficiently. But Claire, if you give me the name of the school after, I guarantee you I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Great. Thank you, Roger. Thank you.
I have other questions, but I'll share.
It's okay.
And I'll stay later, too.
Sir?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, for coming on.
You're welcome.
A couple of questions. Can you give us an update on police recruitment? Because I understand we shot a lot of police officers, and we're going to have difficult time servicing the 911 calls. That's a really concern for the
Yeah, I know.
neighbors.
I would tell you that Chief Logan's not here, and I'm going to ask Keith to speak to this. But, I read the same newspaper articles that I was really concerned about. We've known about the vacancies, the 437 officers. I didn't really care for the articles that were written this week. I didn't think they were in the best interest of the public. I can promise you the sky's not falling. Do we have issues? They're trying to build our police department in this day and age? Yes. We're doing everything we possibly can. I'll let Keith talk to the equipment issues, but I will tell you, and all of us agree with this, despite all the expertise behind me in the various aspects of a very complicated city, if you will, if we had one overarching priority, it's on public safety. So I welcome that question. Keith, I'm going to turn to you, Chief. And
Aloha, thank you for that question. We do acknowledge we do have a, fairly serious personnel shortage. We're about 437 sworn personnel short, as the mayor said, as well as about 192 civilian personnel short as well. But I can assure you, though, that given that fact, we still have over 1,700 sworn officers, serving actively. When you compare that to some of our other counties, like I think Big Island has about 500. I think Kauai has barely 200. So we have a significant force on our side. And with that said, we can maintain all of our patrol capacity. It is a struggle sometimes, but there's no services that get sacrificed because of that. So as far as our ability to investigate crimes, even on the investigative side, we don't stop that, and our personnel shortages don't affect that. We do surge some of the non-patrol positions, to those more important ones as needed. But on the flip side, we are undergoing a very aggressive, recruiting drive. We just offered a new $25,000 recruitment bonus. It's going to be in effect for the next class. We've seen a dramatic increase in some of our application numbers. So typically around this time of the year, we get roughly about 40 a month, but I think that the number about tripled, this month. So we're seeing good numbers on that. In addition, we do have other long-term shaping efforts as far as working with both the high schools. We have law enforcement tracks that we're supporting. We have the Law Enforcement Explorers Program. We have college internship programs. We just reintroduced the cadet program, all geared towards shaping and focusing and hopefully, ushering more recruits into our system. So, yeah, thank you for that question.
You have another question, sir? You said you had a couple. Is that?
Mr. Mayor, I addressed this issue last year. Can we have a dog parking proceeding?
Who's in charge of dog parks here? Come on. Who wants to speak to that, ʻAiea? That's like the same line with the kites. Go ahead. Yeah. And Larry put the requirement in.
We can explore that. It would be availability of land. I know we have a couple new dog parks we work with. Council Member Cordero's office. I'm not from this area, so I'm not sure where they are. We have Hoaloha, and I think one in ʻAiea that are we just created. Are they not near where you live?
I sent you folks a letter that I suggested that Blaisdell Park on the Diamond 8 side, on the other side, but of the parking lot. That's the first suggestion. The other one is at the Waiau District Park, just in front on our Kahamanu side. Because one of the criteria I suggested was, one, you gotta have parking. Two, the area is not to be used by teams that use it to practice sports. Yeah. So there was the two criteria. I wish folks look at it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I promise
we will.
look
Thank
at
you.
It. And for what it's worth, since I have a little dog at home myself, it's I'm not against dog parks, just so you know. I think if we can have them, they're really good. I don't take my dog to a dog park, but I know a lot of people who do, and it's a good thing for dogs. So, sir. I always want to say one thing before you ask a question, to support our police department. I also want to thank our city council, because Chief mentioned the fact that we just implemented this signing bonus. It is a real challenge right now recruiting police officers, not just here in Hawaii, but across the country. It's a very dangerous job. That's why these men, all of our first responders, the fire department's here tonight, EMS is here tonight. It's really difficult work. And the thing about police officer is, and we've seen it all too often lately, not just here in Hawaii, but also national stories where, young lives are lost in crazy incidents. And that's not exactly an incentive for a young person to decide to be a police officer. Add to that this year, I don't know how many retired on the administrative side, but we had 68 officers retire. And that has been the number about almost every year. It's been between 50 and 70. And so right there, it's uphill trying to overcome that to get there. So this is just one tool. I don't think $25,000 changes somebody's mind per se, but it's definitely a recruiting tool. The thing I do want to underscore, though, and Chief alluded to it, is we're doing a lot more aggressive recruiting now at a lot of different levels, and we're being innovative every way we can, because in the spirit of everything that you deserve, we all deserve to feel safe we know the guys, the people, the men and women at the tip of that spear in feeling safe as our police department. So just know this is not anything we're casual about. It's something we're really focused on. We're doing everything we possibly can to make people feel safe. Sir.
We have a concern, and we live below a tripler. We have wrote letters to our representatives, and there's no solution to the problem. The house burned January 5th of this year, and I'm pretty sure our representative know which house this is. There's squatters, there's been convicts, criminals. This house is a known drug house. Every crime on the island, they come to this house. You know, there's a lot of kapuna that lives in the area, scared. A lot of children, you know, we don't let the children play outside because there's criminals always coming and going all hours of the night, day, you know, and District 5.
Have you ever called the police? I'm just curious. You said you wrote to representatives, but...
So we do call the police. They talk to them. Nothing gets done. District 5 Crime Reduction Unit, you know, we've been working with them, and they've been a big help, but they're stuck because, you know, their job is to fight criminals.
Yeah.
Patrol comes up, they don't enforce the law. Vehicles have no license plate. They just talk to them. Registration, safety, all expired. Why do we have laws if they're not going to enforce? They tow the vehicle, and the next day, the vehicle's back at the house. So,
Okay.
you know, we're begging for help because we've
What's
been...
your name?
Eric.
Eric. Hang on a sec. Does anybody want to talk about that here? Because we could take this up. HPD is going to talk about that. Well, I want to know the address, okay?
Okay.
But I'll let Chief talk about that. This is the first I'm learning about it.
Also, the house is burned, and there's still people living there.
Yeah.
There's no water, there's no electricity, and...
It's right below Tripler?
Yes.
Okay.
And, you know, it's... How do people live in that kind of house?
Eric, I don't know. And it's the first I'm hearing about it. But this is the kind of stuff. Just before the meeting started, I was talking to HPD, because they took a meeting with me yesterday where I got a little crazy in the meeting over some stuff that was just as frustrating as what you're describing. And you know, we need to be more assertive. Let me put it that way. I'll let Chief answer
I
that.
can show you videos. I have
Eric,
3,000, you know,
you.
but
Eric,
I know
believe
you don't want to see it right now.
No, but I believe you. And it's not a question of that. Sir, Keith?
Yeah, thanks for letting us know about that. I got my District 5 commander here, so he's tracking what's going on. What we can do to, you know, so I have not just the District 5 commander, but we also have some of the community policing teams here. So we'll meet with you offline. We'll get the details for you, you know, from you, and we can talk story.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And Mike's going to get, I think, your information, Eric, or so. You know, one thing I've learned in getting older, there's a couple of things I've learned in life. One is that people grieve differently. You know, I've really learned to respect that. What might not be anything that saddens me, perhaps, could really almost destroy somebody else, and vice versa. I've never tried to judge anybody by how they might grieve at something. Could be a loss of a sibling, a family member, could be a pet, whatever, different reactions. I've learned to appreciate and respect that. The other thing, though, especially in this job as mayor, that I've really learned to appreciate and respect is that people fear differently. And, you know, what might not bother me again, or maybe would bother me, might not bother you, but the other way around. And it's that fear that we talk a lot about eliminating, aside from can't put everybody behind, but it's that fear that shouldn't be allowed to go on, like Eric was describing, especially if kids are being affected, or people in the neighborhood, and so on and so forth. So we take that stuff really seriously, and we'll do everything we possibly can based on that. People have a right to not have to live in a neighborhood and fear a situation. We're supposed to be able to take care of that. That's our responsibility to you. Okay, next. You want the microphone? Oh, okay, right here to my right, we'll come back to you. Okay? Yes.
I've lived in Salt Lake now for 14 years, This is concerning the Saturday community farmers markets in Salt Lake. The Saturday farmers market used to be very vibrant. Then came COVID, and most of the vendors left and never came back. Now we're lucky if we have 2 vendors on a Saturday. So my question is, what can the city do, or what is the
Well,
city
was it
doing
the city?
to
Was the city
bring them-
sponsoring it before? Was it a city-run farmers market? People's open market.
Yes, so what I'm wondering is, what could the city do to maybe
Thoughts?
encourage the vendors to come back, either
Yeah.
incentives or something else?
Yeah, that's a great question, because that's a vibrant part of a community, and a really good farmers market. Not only a lot of fun, but people make some money on it. You also get some really good prices on stuff. Anybody want to talk about that, Kale? All right, Kale, your night tonight, Kale.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, we manage the People's Open Markets as well, and it has. I mean, the model. You know, I'll be very honest. The model hasn't changed much since I was a child going to the open market back in the 80s. A lot of our vendors are, getting on in age, so it has been a little bit more difficult to attract them back. We are in a space right now of trying to rethink how we do our open markets, and then we just have a lot of competition nowadays, right? There's a lot of farmers markets all over the communities, so they're not quite attractive as they were, when they were the only market to attend to. So I don't have a clear, concrete answer for you, except to tell you that we are aware that this is an issue. It is something that we are thinking through, and we're trying to think through some solutions. And we welcome any input.
Yeah,
Sorry,
when you say we
that's my
take
real
care of these
answer.
open markets, what have we done though historically? I mean, what was the model?
So it is. We have it. It's hosted in our parks, in our parking lots, and we actually have one in front of near Honolulu Hale also. So we host them in our parks. They move. They're a moving market, so they'll start in one location and stay there for a couple of hours, and then they'll up and move to a different location. So that
Is that like
too,
the one I see in front of Blaisdell on Wednesdays? Is that the same thing?
No.
No? Okay.
Thank you for that.
All right. Okay.
Mahalo. Yeah, mahalo.
I promise you we'll have a conversation about it. Sir, no, I promise we go to her first, okay? Thank you, sir.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. Just want to say thank you that I'm so proud that I'm here today. But I just wanted to ask, after my son's story had aired on the news 2 months ago, I haven't heard from HPD about reopening my son's case, and I wanted to know, what's going on?
Okay, I remember you. We met in Nanakuli.
Yes.
Well, actually, it was in Maili. It was Maili. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Chief?
Aloha, Shauna, right?
Yes.
Yeah. First of all, my sincere, condolences and sympathies go out to you and your family for your loss. One thing with HPD I can say, we have a very capable, criminal investigation division. We handle all aspects of crime and felonies, in the city and county of Honolulu. And death cases, of course, we take it the most seriously. We've got our best investigators on that, assigned to that. And, we have a very, very good clearance rate as well. For your case, I am somewhat familiar with it, although I can't, and I won't talk details because not in this forum, right? But what I can do is, we can sit down after, and, so criminal investigation division does fall under my purview, so we can put you in touch with the detectives and get you a better answer on that. Again, I think because of the sensitive nature of the case, I really can't talk, details in this forum.
That's why I just want to ask, can I get my son's case reopened criminally?
Yeah, we'll take a look into that.
Yes.
Okay,
It's
so
been long.
apologize for not, giving a timely answer on that
way
if that was the
long.
case.
It's been way
Yes.
long coming.
Okay.
And, I've been through a lot. Me and my kids, for our safety too, yeah. There's a lot of crime, and what happened to my son? I got to make sure that we're safe. My kids are safe. So it's not just getting justice for my big boy, my amazing son, but it's also to, make sure that me and my family, my kids, is safe too, because you never know, we never know, something can happen to me because I'm fighting for justice for my son.
Right.
So I just want to stay transparent. That's why I'm transparent, because if anything does happen to me, at least everybody knows. Fight for me, you know what I mean? Fight for justice for me too. Okay. I'm a mom, I'm a grieving mom over 2.5 years. My son didn't deserve what happened to him. I don't want to go into detail. It's devastating that I had to at some point because nothing is being done. It's horrific.
Yeah, Sean, again, apologize for what you're going through, but we're on your side.
I'm
okay?
I'm upset.
Mm-hmm.
I get my emotions. I cannot work. I finally did a GoFund because I feel like I need an attorney. I don't have the money to be paying for, you know what I mean? I can barely work. I only do Uber Eats. I cannot work anymore.
I understand.
I cannot.
Okay. Again,
Thank you.
We're on your side. Okay, we want
Yeah.
justice as well.
Okay.
And, let's talk after.
My son deserved justice. He would have been like one of you folks. He was so amazing. He was in a robotics club at Pearl City, District 3 side, and he's right there with Governor Ige. He went into the White House. He went into the Honolulu Hale State Capitol. I mean, he's been all over. He won competitions for robotics club because of my son. He had certifications he just got. My son was amazing. He was only 21 years old. I need justice for my son. I cannot live like this. I cannot just let it get swept under the rug. This is not an undetermined case.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll follow up, Chief. Thank you. All right, tough segue, sir.
As far as zoning and when people ask for exceptions to zoning in habitational areas in my neighborhood, is there a rubric if they decide to deviate from whatever the occupation is for that area? So, we have people who are setting up old folks home, on our street. It's a street that doesn't have sidewalks and stuff like that. We have a lot of elderly and kids that live in the neighborhood. And if there's a decision that goes to allow people to augment, commercial activity in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
is there a rubric for it, to make that decision?
Yeah, well, I don't think they can do that, first of all. I think Dawn was over in the corner. I'm going to have her come up. Dawn Apuna, Dawn Takeuchi Apuna, is our director of DPP. I'm sure she was over there talking to Eric about maybe eminent domain and taking over that place, but go ahead. Did you hear the question?
No, I'm sorry, I missed the
All
question.
right,
Can
so
you repeat
it's
it?
about changing, making a change to the zoning for a habitational area for commercial use. So I think they're allowed like maybe 6 beds for, having elderly live in the home or whatever. And they built a huge house and they're trying to up the number, right? They made this big investment after the fact, and then they go in to ask for an exception. Is there a rubric, to make exceptions to zoning?
So is it like a group facility, group living facility?
They're trying to get it to that point. It's owned by a family, right? And so they're going to be caretakers, and they're going to have beds in it, and so they built out to the max of the entire property, and now they want to use it for more than just the 6 beds or whatever it is. They wanted to.
Well, we can get the address. We should look at that.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
send in some inspectors out. You just don't get to do that.
Right.
I guess if I understand, that's what your question. People just don't get to automatically change zoning
Right.
that way. It doesn't. So.
Right. So if they have some kind of facility, group living facility that's not allowed, then we would send our inspectors to determine if
Well,
that's
they haven't. They've applied for it. They haven't actually opened it up yet. So right now, it's been built for like 2 years, and they've been trying to get the exceptions. My neighbors have said that they got it. I'm just asking.
We'll get
if
the
there's a
address from
rubric
you.
for it. Okay.
Let's get the address. We'll check it out. We'll get back to you.
Okay. Yeah. The other one, a couple other ones. One is pool hours in ʻAiea. I can't use it. Working people can't. It's closed
The
at
pool,
4.
swimming pool
yeah,
hours.
the swimming pool.
In ʻAiea. Kayla, you're on the spot tonight, kid.
Hi, sorry, and thanks for your concern. So, and that's a problem island-wide. We actually, over there on DHR's table, we have flyers. We're looking for lifeguards. You know, we have lots of vacancies across the city that includes parks, and so that is that's a huge reason for why we manage and have the pool hours that we do. So we need help. We are looking for a lot of good employees too. So if you know of anyone, you know, we have flyers over there on the table. We need lifeguards.
But if I can say one thing on our behalf, after the town halls last year, excuse me, Cal, we managed, and they were closed. In fact, Waipahu was closed for almost 6 years. We got both of those pools opened up, Pearl City and Waipahu, and they've been closed for a long time.
Oh, they're beautiful pools. We just can't use them, right? They're these great city assets. I mean, along with that, it's like, you know, trying to use the rail at night. You know, it's like, that's for, you don't have to answer that. I get it that you can't right now, but it's like, you know, you get to ʻAiea and you want to get out to Kapolei, use the rail, and it's, you know, it closes at 7, so you can't even, you know,
I think
use it.
once,
It's
well,
crazy.
and Lori's here, and Roger's here. Lori's building it, Roger's running it. Look, this was interim operations initially. It was decided long before we got in office if and when we could complete what is now that first phase from East Kapolei to Aloha Stadium. Our next phase, which should be done before the end of 25, am I saying that correctly? Thank you. Okay. Is going to take us, you know, to Middle Street, and we're going to extend the hours of operation. We also know it's going to extend our ridership as well, because that will get us through 2 of the employment centers that we're currently not getting past, which is Pearl Harbor, both gates, and the airport. How can I forget the airport for a second? So we will expand those hours, but right now we're more concerned about ongoing construction on a timely basis, budget-wise, operational efficiency, which Roger and the team are doing a really good job. We're doing what we can on ridership, but we also understand for those people riding it who can rely on the fact that they can get from Kapolei to Aloha Stadium in 22 minutes and then jump on a bus or some other kind of transportation, they all like it. But it's nowhere near the numbers we're anticipating that we'll be able to grow into. Right. People need an incentive to leave their car at home, and part of that incentive is how easy I can get to work. And right now, we're not going to anybody's workplace. Okay? So we're putting up with that because we had to do that. What I'm really pleased with, and Roger can embellish it, the statistics, because it's above the traffic, are really good. So these trains really operate on incredible efficiency as far as timeliness, and I guarantee you, with the stops even, it gets you from Kapolei to Aloha Stadium in 22 minutes. So you have a question?
Why don't you get the city and county employees to use the rail to go to work? Now.
Yeah.
Start now.
How would you do that?
Make it a requirement of their job.
Make it a requirement?
If they work out at Kapolei, they got to use the rail to get out there.
Okay, Roger.
We actually made a deal with our city employees. If they agree to take the train to work or the bus, they can ride for free. But the requirement that they have is they have to give up their parking permit. So we are doing that. We've had a 17% growth in our ridership, still real bad ridership, but it's growing. But I agree with you, trying to get at least our government workers to use it, great idea.
There will come a time when the ridership will be really strong on that. This is a transformative project. And quite honestly, it's not for today, but we're building it for the future, and it will impact. Communities will be developed, ridership will be there. We're just evolving through it. But I have to admit, I didn't really know enough. We had enough challenges coming with the rail on the interim operations that we pretty much had to do that. And we looked at that and said, is that really going to be the kind of incentive? This next stop will make the next leg will make a big difference. And then ultimately when we get to downtown to Civic Center, it'll go. But I think as we see more and more people adopting it, it's going to pick up. We know it's going to pick up. Yeah, a lot of people use the bus. You know, Roger ran the bus for more than 4 decades. I was thrilled when he agreed, because of such an award-winning bus system, that he wanted to do this on our watch, become a part of our team, and leave that and take over the ultimate responsibility if the Lori's building it to operate and maintain it, because we wanted that experience. And we have a great bus system here. In fact, Roger, what's the statistics on how many rides we give a year on the bus? This always blows people away.
Well, we are trying to struggle back from where we were pre-COVID, but we're about 150, 160,000 riders a day. And that's a pretty sizable number.
Yeah.
I'd love to get back to our 200,000. And, you know, during COVID, a lot of people stopped going to work or they started working at home. A lot of people during COVID, you know, we told them, as our message was, don't ride the bus unless you actually have to. So a lot of our folks went out and bought cars and did all those things. I'm working hard to try to get them back, but that's we're still the 5th highest per capita ridership in the U.S. And that, you know, we got a small population. We're not New York City, and they're the 1st per capita. But per population, we're the 5th.
Next question. Yes, ma'am. We have a microphone to you. Brandy's getting her workout tonight. Thank you, Brandy. Hustle.
Hello, my name is Shar, and
Hi, Shar.
I was a former educator as well. And I think that part of this bus ridership thing is that you have to start young. So I live in ʻAiea, and I know there's a bus route, they made a special route that goes around by Gus Webling. There's also another one that goes around by ʻAiea High School. And I was telling the bus driver that it would be a wise idea, and that preschool teacher, if they could take elementary field trips where they get on that bus, go down to the rail, go out to Leeward Community College, go out to UH, and get off, and you have to partner with those people to have some kind of program for them to get off and get to maybe classes even for the high school where they can take them. Because once you make it possible for them to understand that it's a convenient way to get to school and it's not scary, then it'll be more, you'd have more ridership. So there needs to be more of a partnership with the DOE and UH in order to get kids, create programs where kids can get out there.
Yeah, we did a deal with Keith Hayashi. Let Roger talk about it. This is his area. But we agree. We absolutely agree with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely agree with you on that.
Totally agree. This 2 years ago, we started a program with DOE where we made bus passes, transit passes available to students, high school students. We have 30,000 high school students on this island. Last year we did 8,000 out of that 30,000. This is the second year of our program. We did 16,400 kids signed up for our program. It's a cooperative program with the Department of Education. For the University of Hawaii at Manoa, students voted themselves to have transit put into their campus card. So if you're enrolled at the University of Hawaii, you automatically get a transit benefit. It's very highly used by the students. Same thing at KCC. And we're working now with both Leeward and with West Oahu, which are now on the rail system. It seems a slam dunk that we're going to try to get that too. But to your point the other thing that my department is doing a lot is with a lot of schools. If the schools call and want a tour of the rail system or those kind of things, we're probably doing 2 a week right now. There's a limit to how much I can let my staff go out and do these things, but we're doing about 2 a week right now. Also, our bus company partners also have a young student thing. They'll come and take a class. They'll take them through the bus washer. They'll show them the bus maintenance, because we're also looking for workers too later on. It's hard to find bus drivers. It's hard to find good mechanics. So the more we can get them interested in public transportation at that early age, the better it is for everybody here.
Thank you. Before we go to the next question, Ben, is there anything from CCSR you want to add on that?
So we appreciate your bus ridership. I am also a bus rider. I appreciate the question, Mayor. And from a climate change standpoint, this is a great thing. It does what we love, which is to say it helps globally, but it also helps in our wallets locally. If you ride the bus, you save a whole lot of money. It's about $16,000 per household to maintain automobiles in the state of Hawaii. And so when you get rid of your, as you know, if you get rid of a car, you get rid of 2 cars. It's not just gas, it's insurance, it's tires, it's transmissions, it's all that kind of stuff. So we love Roger Morton's bus. We promote it as much as we possibly can. Thank you.
We love Lori's Rail, too.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Lori, I'm just trying to keep you in the game here, kid. All right. Next question. Sir. Then, Carl, I see your hand up over there, too. So, go ahead. Your microphone. Yep.
Aloha, guys. Mr. Mayor.
Aloha.
I appreciate what you're doing at Blaisdell Park. Last time we spoke was last year. I brought it up at the meeting, and so I really appreciate what's going on over there.
You're welcome. You're talking about Honu?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honu and just the whole cleanup in that Blaisdell Park area, the whole bike trail.
Yep.
Looks great.
That's
It's coming along.
Captain Salhani. Salhani helping us with the bike trail.
My concern is for Tom from Palisades. So on Komomai Drive, going up to Palisades, coming from Waimano Home Road.
Yeah.
It's a windy road. It's dangerous. I brought it up to our community board a month ago, and in regards to the rails and the fences and the signs that are all broken, and I haven't seen anything done about it. I went down to the police station to see if there's any police reports on that, just to make sure the city is aware that those things are broken and messed up, and it's unsafe. I was advised to call 311 to call your office. So forget calling your office. I'm here to talk to you about it.
You got it.
Right? So I just want to know when that's going to get fixed, because, as you know, it's only one way in and one way out for us. So any kind of work done on that road is going to mess up a lot of families up there in their commute time. So, yeah, when's it going to get done?
Okay.
And, yeah, appreciate
Well,
your...
since this is the first I'm hearing about it tonight, we'll turn it over to Gene Albano and make sure your answer is satisfactory. Gene?
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. We've met, yeah, at Neighborhood Board. So there's a process in terms of replacing damage.
I got a comment on that.
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. Yeah.
So I went on the website.
Yeah.
To click on, use the pin and click on that stuff. Doesn't work. It doesn't
does not
recognize
work.
our area. So
it does not work.
You know?
Is Steven here as well?
So yeah,
Let's have a conversation
all over
after
the place.
that.
Doesn't work in
We
Palisades. We're not
seriously take
recognized.
those items, especially if it's regarding safety, in terms of making sure it's replaced quickly. Let's have a conversation afterwards. You and I can have a conversation, and I will get that done. Thank you. That's another story. We can talk story about that one.
Did Representative Corey Chun come in? Was
Right here. Oh, yeah, right here.
what? Hi, Corey.
Micah's here, too.
And Micah's here. Micah ʻAiea is here, too. Where's Micah? Hi, Micah. Thanks for coming. With the outset. All right, who's got the next question? Hey, and so, you know, we're hearing you, okay? We're hearing you. We hear the frustration on that, and we will address it, okay? We will. I promise you that. All right. Since you're talking to me, I'm talking to you. All right. Okay. Good. Who's next? Right here. Yes.
Hi, my name is Karen Yim. I live
Karen.
in Pro City. I walk the parks, the Pro City parks, every morning. So I know how often the trash is picked up, which is probably once every 7, 8, or 9 days. And the Blaisdell Park is the worst because it's curbside and it's probably 2 car length long, 3 trash bags high. I sent pictures to Val's office and to Larry, and I think they communicated with the city, but it's really unacceptable and it's an eyesore. And it's not only Blaisdell, to a smaller degree, but still unsightly, unhealthy, and people are dumping their stuff there too, so there probably should be a no dumping sign. But it's Waiau District Park, Palisades, who else? Pro City District Park, and Blaisdell.
So, Roger, do you want to talk about this, or is this Gene, or who are we looking at on the UK how?
Oh, sorry.
But before you say that, it's now 8 o'clock. We have 30 minutes left. But the reason why I'm bringing up the time is was going to bet, I actually did, that that would be the first question we got tonight. Because I was aware of this situation.
Okay.
Because we've been peppered with...
Sorry, can I, so I talked to all the maintenance people there, and they're just wonderful hard workers. I just want to give them a kudos, and I also want to thank the Pro City Department, because when I walk in the morning, I think you folks do like a sweep, a visual sweep. You park there just to know that, you know, you're watching, so the homeless people can kind of get a sense of, you know, you folks are watching, so thank you so much. But I understand at the Blaisdell Park, there were back, because Tommy mentioned that decades ago, there was some thought of, because the rubbish piles up right next to the parking lot, facing the ocean. I mean, it's terrible. And he said, oh, they were thinking about having bins or something, maybe slightly off curbside or somewhere to house the trash bags, but I know it's a little bit more of an effort to do that pickup-wise, and you know, but that would at least make it less unsightly, and I'm sure this, you know, in other areas on the island, it's not this bad.
Hi, thanks for bringing your concern. I too saw the email, I saw the pictures. So I don't want to, so one, I don't think, our pickup is much more frequent than that. It's not every 7 to 8 days. Yes, we are dealing with illegal dumping. Sometimes we have cleanups, and we love cleanups. Thank you, community, for helping us to malama our parks. Sometimes we don't know about them, and so if we don't, we can't plan for pickup. But I will say in this case, this specific district, at that time, our refuse truck was down, you know, so it was out of repair. And so when that happens, our crews have to use their trucks. So they're using their F-150s. They use those to remove the trash. And so they try to get to it, you know, and I saw the pictures. There was a lot of trash there, and it looked like maybe there was a cleanup because those aren't our city trash bags. But so they got to get innovative. So they use their trucks to remove the trash. And then there is the matter of the location. So, you know, our community tends to put the trash where it's convenient. We want to relocate where they're dumping their trash. We are going to put up some signage there. Our truck is fixed, so they're back on a regular pickup. And we ask that if you see any illegal dumping, just help us out by reporting that. But we do apologize because, yeah, it looks pilau. We apologize for that. And thank you for acknowledging the work of our staff.
And this is not an excuse, just for information. Who knows? Because I heard how many of our trucks, refuse trucks, were down, inoperable. Is it you, Roger? You know the answer to that, right? What's the answer, sir? A lot. These guys are also comedians. They're really smart and they're really good at what they do, but they're also pretty funny sometimes. Go ahead, Roger.
So, yeah, Department of Environmental Services, we collect residential only. So the gray, green, and blue carts with the side loader trucks. And there are some folks that are on manual routes as well. So those of you on manual routes, you know, you get twice a week collection and you have your own rubbish cans. Yeah, so we, because of COVID, there were supply chain issues with the refuse vehicles. So that's the side loaders. We have 105 in the fleet. So normally we would purchase, they only last 7 years. That's very heavy, it's very challenging work for those vehicles. So they last 7 years, so we buy about 20 new ones per year. But during COVID, a lot of orders were canceled by the manufacturers because vehicles weren't available. You kind of heard about chips and engines and all kinds of different things were not available. So we didn't receive any vehicles for 3 years, and we have yet to receive vehicles this year. We're expecting to receive about 14 vehicles this year and about 20 next year. But there are 60 vehicles that have run through their useful life that haven't been replaced in the last 3 years. So it is a challenge to keep the old vehicles on the road, and it's a difficult problem because when you have fewer vehicles and older vehicles that are out of service, then the newer vehicles that you do have work double time because they have to come back and then go out and do another route. So they They're,
And that gets exacerbated with a lack of mechanics. So here we are recruiting again. If you've got
Yes, we need
a
mechanics.
cousin or somebody, we need mechanics, right? I mean,
We do.
that just makes it even more challenging. I mean, Roger talked about that earlier. It's one of those key functions, just like we need engineers.
we do need engineers.
We need
Yes,
like 45 engineers in the city.
we have openings.
Yes, we do. I mean,
We're hiring.
These are critical functions, and what we don't want to do is that's why we're going all out trying to recruit. We're just letting you know. I mean, want you to understand the problem. It's not even meant to be an excuse. Just want you to understand why things are the way they are right now. So I'm pleased to hear that. I think in our operating budget this year, we increased the budget by about $30 million. I'm looking at you, Tommy, for equipment this year, and some of that stuff has been delayed. We're a little bit behind on that. And it's a kind of a not excuse, but COVID had an impact on so many different levels, and we're far from being past COVID on its impact on us. We are far from that, and we're just working through it. But thanks, Roger, for that perspective. I appreciate. I knew you knew that stuff. Next, yes, sir. We'll get you a microphone. Coming. Yep, right here.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
I want to bring up a couple.
What's your name?
David Yomes. I'm the chair
David.
for the Salt Lake Neighborhood Board. A couple circumstances in Salt Lake. One is the Salt Lake waterway. There's a stench that comes from the waterway. This has been going on for years. Tried to resolve it with all parties involved. Still haven't gotten anywhere. So the community got together and tried on our own to solve this problem. So we even used our own funds to pay for the first cleanup of the waterway and cleanup of the park. And what I'm asking the city is not for money, is to ask the city to help us with the rubbish to get it taken to the incinerator or the refuse center. Our last cleanup, thanks to Kyle Takuda and Denny Higa on your staff, they took care of it, and we resolved that issue. But we have a number of cleanups to help the city, trying to save taxpayers money. And I live in a resilient community that loves volunteerism, and they come out in force. The last cleanup, we had over 150 people that came out, and we cleaned the waterway. But the problem with the waterway is affecting so many people that live right around the waterway, the high rises, the low rises. And it's been going on forever. The smell is going into their living rooms, their bedrooms, and it's all coming from the stagnant water within the waterway, which is caused because there's no circulation in the water. And a lot of the trees and the branches are blocking the circulation. So we're trying to get all of that taken care of so, that smell and stench will go away. And we're just asking the city, not for money. I was going to ask the city for money, but council member
Cordero?
No, I said this council member, she said she was going to give us $50,000 from her campaign funds. So thank you so much. Appreciate that. But anyway, we're looking for the city to help us take this trash out and take it away because we don't have the resources.
I got a couple of guys here eager to answer this question. I hear you.
If you can help us with that.
Yep.
And secondly, besides that, Salt Lake, 67,000 people, according to the last census I read, in and around Salt Lake. We want a Christmas parade for our kids in the community. We wanted
you're pushing your luck.
We're
Christmas
very
parade.
few.
Come on, a Christmas parade.
We're one of the last ones
Really?
to have a Christmas parade.
Really?
So if the city can help us with that.
I'm just kidding. I marched in 8 parades last year. I kept saying, who else has a parade? Who else? Salt Lake. Let's see what we can get done on that, David. I'm serious. But this other one, let's address. Why don't you should have a Christmas parade? I don't disagree with that. Go ahead, guys.
Thank you, sir, for your question. Now, I'm a longtime Salt Lake resident. I grew up knowing Salt Lake when it truly was a Salt Lake. Salt Lake, however, is a private waterway. It is owned by the golf course. However, the city has tried to work with the golf course to see how we can collaborate in terms of cleaning the waterway. I have our drainage engineer speaking with the community, is my understanding, Thomas Takeuchi, and he's doing his best to see how we can resolve the stench. That is my understanding of the situation. If it's different, let's have a conversation, but that is my understanding. I want Salt Lake to be Salt Lake as much as you want it to be how it was before. Roger?
I just wanted to address the issue about trash and community cleanups. We very much support that, and any community cleanup that happens, and you contact our department, and what you usually have to do is you got to get a roll-off bin from one of the commercial companies, HDS or West Wahoo Aggregate, WOA, you know, the trucks that you see on the road all the time. They will donate the bin, they'll drop it off, they'll pick it up, and then we waive the fees when they bring it to H Power. So we totally support that. There's no limit on the number of cleanups that you can do that the city will support.
As far as the ownership of the property, we're getting mixed messages for many years. My belief was that the city owns some of it, the Army owns some of it, and the majority is owned by the Honolulu Country Club. And the problem we're having right now is on the city side because of the storm drains that come in. If anybody know about Salt Lake, all the storm drains in this area filter into the Salt Lake waterway. The Army on top, on the Liamano Military Reservation, all of their storm drains come into the Salt Lake waterway. So that's why we're having a problem. The three entities, try to get them to sit down and see if we can figure this thing out, which wouldn't cost too much for the taxpayer. I know the city and the prior owners of the Honolulu Country Club, they had a grant for a few $1 million, and we don't know where the money went. And appearing that nothing was really done with that type of money. And then they changed ownership to the country club. So now the new owners of the country club, they've been pretty receptive, and they started to clean up their area. But we're trying to concentrate on the city side, try to save the city some money and get all of that cleaned up so the circulation can continue and we can get rid of the stagnant water, which is causing the smell.
I'm not making an excuse. I've been in the position for less than a year. I would take personal investment in this issue because I want Salt Lake to be Salt Lake. Thank you.
We have, okay, there's a woman down here, somebody, we said we're going to, okay, in 1 second. Go ahead, ma'am. Then we'll come right to you.
I just wanted to make a fast comment. Thank you very much, everyone, as far as your cabinet here that's here tonight, because really to have everybody gathered and, you know, away from their family time, really appreciate it. However, just a comment on the Salt Lake Waterway. We're part of a group here that are the community constituents that put together a grassroots project, which was the Salt Lake Waterway cleanup. Although it is privately owned by Honolulu Country Club. I don't know if you're a golfer, but
no, but I knew Tomi Otaki, but he sold it, and I wish he still
now
owned
it's
it
JJ
because I'd like to be able to talk to him.
Yeah.
I don't know who the new guys are, but go ahead.
They're a Korean owned now.
Yeah.
But you know, my whole thing is that we meaning the Country Club Village, the Vista, you know, we're the condos that live right along the Salt Lake Waterway. And what we go through with the smell, along with its respiratory problems, nausea, headaches, you know, it's really not a pleasant situation. And I know that the state did dredge it. So $250 million was spent on dredging it. Dredging only makes it worse. So our situation here is we took it upon ourselves because we've been getting complaints I've been on the neighborhood board, and we're not supposed to bring in neighborhood board, according to Mr. Lloyd, but, you know, people have been coming to the neighborhood board for the past 10, 15 years, complaining about the smell and what can we do. So we finally decided that what we'll do is we did a resolution and we decided that we're going to attack the problem as best as we can on a grassroots level, like I said. So therefore, we've gathered the different condos and the residents that are nearby. We had even the Army military people and Navy. They competed with each other. So who could beat each other? And, you know, they participated in the volunteer of the cleanup of Likini Street Park, and also you know, we did Genki balls. So that's what I want to announce. We did Genki balls. Yay! Yes, yes. And,
So I'm going to ask you what your question is because we're going to run out of time.
yes, okay. But you know what?
And
I'm
that's not
supporting
the-
Genki Balls, but if you would support us with the Genki Balls project too, with a proclamation,
We'll
that
find
would be
out
really
about that.
great.
I met the guy who invented the Kinky
Yeah,
Balls.
yeah, Nago.
He's a very
yeah.
cool guy.
So,
All right.
if we could get your support on that too.
Okay, I would just say one thing on behalf of my two guys here, and Dr. Roger Babcock and Gene O'Bonnell. These are two really top flight engineers. And we're really blessed. And if anybody could figure out something, and Gene just made a personal commitment here, we'll try to make an effort on that. I recognize the fact that that's got to be very, very disturbing and upsetting, and it's a little bit mind-numbing. You're into Genki Balls. The government state spent $250 million dredging. You've got the Army and the Navy cleaning up. You've got a community cleanup, and it's still there. So I don't know what the immediate solution is, but I promise you it's on our radar screen. Okay? Ma'am. Your microphone is not on. It's the magic microphones. They keep shutting off to everybody.
I have a concern, Mayor. This is with regards to my application for rebuilding our house at Pearl City. The application is since 2022, and our number is 1464.
Okay. 1464 is your application permit number?
Yeah,
Okay.
since 2022. I brought this up already to
Don?
Gene Albano
Yeah, but
to
that's
help
not,
me with that.
Yeah.
Although he is not the one.
Yeah, he's not the one. Don
Yeah,
is...
2 to 3 months already,
Yeah.
but up to now, no
Well,
more yet.
we'll have Don talk to you. Look, I don't know if any of you saw our State of the City, and I'm not going to repeat the whole thing. But when we came into office 3+ years ago, we knew the Department of Planning and Permitting was broken and had been broken for decades. And we had a city audit that just detailed all of that. But nonetheless, we wanted to really understand the problem. We spent the last couple of years understanding that problem, developing the right solutions, and we're well on our way. In fact, in using software, we're focused on people, processes, and technology. Technology is a big part of it. So I can only tell you, your wait is legitimate. There's no denying it. It drives us crazy. We've made a lot of inroads already. Have Don at least be able to give you the status of where your permit is. Very shortly, you'll be able to do that online, understand exactly where you are. But I said on the record last 2 weeks ago, a month, maybe it's already a month ago, we did the State of the City, that we're very aware of those timely delays. When we first came into office, the backlog just for pre-screening, which is the first phase, was 6 months, just to even get out of pre-screening. And we had a backlog of nearly, I believe, close to 6,000 applications. Today, there is no backlog. Today, you get that through pre-screening in 3 days or less. Our next phase is on reading the code. We're using artificial intelligence as we did with that. We've done a lot of work. It's complicated detail with the union, but I went on record and said that permit reviews within the next year will happen in 2 to 4 weeks. And we're on record of doing that. We've done a tremendous amount of work in a short period of time against something that everybody told us could not be done. So I could take you down a long, dark road, but I just understand it's legitimate. We'll give you an answer, and we'll try to tell you where things are. But things are about to improve greatly within DPP for our community, and that we're determined and that we're confident. So next question, up there.
Hi. Thank you, Mayor and Cabinet. It seems to me that looking at the entire city, that the city finances are in a vice grip. On one hand, it's very difficult to pass on property taxes because of the changing in demographics and a lot of people leaving Hawaii. On the other hand, you look at all the other people looking for, your issue is retention and recruitment of employees. So you're caught in a vice of increasing costs and demands for services. How are you funding this? Are you borrowing your way out of this?
No. We're budgeting. And, and you have to understand what you're capable of. So our attitude is pretty basic. How much money do we have, and what can we do with that money? And we're not raising property taxes. So we have budget money for more employees. The council's been really helpful with us on that. We've actually changed the dynamic of how that works, and whether or not Nola or somebody else wants to talk about it. So it's not really a function of the money and what you're saying. It really is for us right now. It's about people. It's about people. And since you alluded to out-migration, that's a serious issue for this state. And COVID didn't help, made matters worse, but we've been going through out-migration for the last 8 years. I don't know if anybody, so we're very focused on that. That brings us down to what we're trying to do with respect to housing and the initiatives we're doing in the city, and we can't do stuff fast enough. It's been a long time coming, but we're at that fulcrum, at that point right now where, we want to reverse that because we can't afford to do that. The people that are leaving are exactly the people who don't want to leave. My 3 kids were all born here. They grew up here. They don't live here. So I understand that. For a lot of people, we don't want people to leave. And the people that I've talked to that had to leave, they didn't want to leave. Some people do, I know that. But most of them don't want to leave. And they stay very close to this place. And it's home for them. So we get it. But no, we're okay on the money. We may cry a lot of things. I'm not going to cry poor. Not with a $4.5 billion budget. It's a question of where your priorities are, how you understand what those priorities are, and what you spend your money on. And that's a lot of what we've gotten done over the last couple of years with help from our city council. We've changed the dynamic of how the city's operated and what we spend money on. We're okay there. We need the people. Right? And we're not raising property taxes. Yeah. Upper left. Over there. Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. My name is Joe Omura. I'm a Salt Lake resident since 1970.
Hi, Joe.
And I have a little thing, I guess, with the people that live around our neighborhood. And the question is this, pertaining to the pay raises that went by from last year and then this year's raise as well. I know I talked to a council person that voted against the raise. That person told me, you know what, I'm voting with my conviction, but there's no choice. We're forced to take it. I talked to a council member that voted for it. He said, I had to vote for it because it doesn't look good if we all vote against it and we get the raise anyway. And so I was told that it's formed by committee, it's passed by some kind of finance committee, and once it's passed, that's it. All the council can do is do a ceremonial vote. So I said, okay, if that is true, then who controls that committee that forces the wage thing onto you? And so basically, I've read articles in the paper, and to me, it doesn't make sense. And so that's why I'm asking you this question, because you can clear this up so that, I thought that the council sets the laws and that you would sign
a
a
salary commission.
The salary commission, right.
That's what you're
but
talking
see,
about.
the thing is, okay, for the salary commission, right, shouldn't the council be the one shouldn't the salary commission only recommend and not have a final say by saying, we passed this and now this is it. You guys have no choice.
What's your question?
So that's
because I have to tell you
what can
right
we
now.
do?
Let me give you a perspective, okay?
Okay.
Because I hear you. I just got done telling this guy, we may cry a lot of things. We don't cry poor. We have the money.
Right.
What happened with the pay raises for this team is that Mayor Caldwell in his last year, understandably, because of COVID, said no raise. Okay? That was 1 year. We came in and for the first 2 years, I said no raises because of COVID. 3 years in a row. Meanwhile, civil service people, collective bargaining, all got raises. Our team didn't get no raise. Last year, Salary Commission asked me, I said, you know what? We're pulling out of this. We're okay financially. We know what we're doing. Put them in for raise. I didn't know what the raise number was going to be. Okay? The Salary Commission operates autonomously, irrespective of what you might hear. There's no influence from our people. And they came up with our raises, both for City Council and for us. And after 4 years, I wasn't about to deny these men and women who work extraordinary hours, 7 days a week, they don't get paid overtime, a raise in a place where groceries have gone up 27%. We've got a 7% inflation. And I would say to you, sir, since we're behind even what the collective bargaining people were making, fair is fair. Nobody's up here doing it for charity, and none of us signed up to make money. That's not what this job is about. But I'm not going to deny my people who work really hard an opportunity to make a fair wage as based on the analysis that's done and on the money we're paying all of our other employees. So that's where I come down on that. Okay? And I'm willing to talk to you afterwards. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I get to say that as mayor. Okay? Feel very strongly about that. We have exactly 5 minutes left. I want to answer a couple more questions if we can. Who's up next?
Hey, how's it, Bear?
It's your second question tonight. You're on a roll.
Yeah.
You changed sides, but I still recognize you.
I've been a resident of Country Club Village from December 13th of 1995. And this is the first time that I listen to a mayor that speak truth. That you talking about finances and everything. You put it in a guideline where, for me, I went to Farrington. I limited education, but I understand where you're coming from.
Thank you for that, but I got more Farmington friends that graduate from there. They always played that act on me, and they're some of the smartest guys I know. Okay, so thank you. I got plenty of friends from Farmington. They always say, hey, you know. Okay, one more question. We're going to wrap up the night. Yes. Oh no, who we got? Andrew, hang on a second. Is there anybody from Salt Lake in this area that wants to ask anything else? Radiant, please. Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Radiant Cordero, Salt Lake resident, as you asked, as well as, of course, their city council member. Something that we're really happy with is the final construction or work on the Salt Lake Boulevard widening project. You know, this supersedes all of us. It's twice as old as I have. The residents of Salt Lake have been waiting twice as long as I've been alive. So it's really great to have started. And I just want to know an update on the Salt Lake Boulevard widening project. Thank you.
Huck was here, right? Hey, okay. But I would tell you, I've gone up there. That's a massive project.
It is.
It is really a massive project. Haku, go ahead.
Thank
Make
you,
it
Mayor.
good, Haku. This is big here.
Thank you. You know, yeah, we know it has been an inconvenience to the community. We are grateful for your patience and for your input because we know that everything is going to be perfect the first time we put it out there. We have made changes, right, to traffic control, making things safer. And so, again, thank you guys. We are on track to complete construction at the end of next year. And then we're going to start the final phase toward the middle of 26. So we're wrapping up the design for Salt Lake Boulevard Phase 3B, which will begin or will be awarded in July of 26. So in a few years, it'll all be done, and then once we have that Christmas parade, it'll be perfect down Salt Lake Boulevard. Thanks.
Thank you for the question. Look, I want to wrap it up on time. We're not going to run out of here. We're going to stay here. I want to end this the way we started out, and that is thanking you. Thank you for who you are. A number of you have said tonight, including the last man, was how long you've lived in this area. We know you care deeply about it. I understand the issues. We've heard some tonight. We really just appreciate this opportunity. I promise you this, each and every person up here tonight that said they're going to follow up with you will follow up with you. If we can solve it, we will. But we're going to deal with you directly. I don't want anybody saying, you know, we called, nobody responded, we didn't know who to talk to, whatever, any of that sense of helplessness. We don't want that. Okay? So, again, thank you. I want to thank our team. I want to thank the elected officials tonight that came out, Radiant and Val, and I should say Councilwoman Cordero, Councilwoman Okimoto, Council Chair Waters, retired Senator Sam Hong, all of you, thank you very much, okay? Thanks for being here. Thank you.